Come on, y'all, it's time.
Come on. Let's go. Let's do it.
Rolling on the road
With the doc.
rolling on the road
With Dave.
rolling on the road.
With the doc.
100 shades of the possibilities with Dave and Dr. Parenting.
All right. That was cool. Yeah. Hey, that was nice.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am so excited to see you on today and to have you see me. And today is our last Tuesday for celebrating Women's History Month based off of the calendar, but we always celebrate women no matter the day nor the time. I am an African American woman with no hair. I am wearing glasses today. And I do not have any glitter on the long eyelashes to match my outfit. I have on a sweater that is white and black and cream and gray on today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are watching on GRTV 25, today is, I got to check the date because I don't remember what today is. The date today is Tuesday, March 26th. Can you believe it? It's the end of the month already. Wow. I want to say thank you so much for being such loyal viewers. Dave should be rolling in here any minute now. I just left him. But I want to say this has been a wonderful month. You guys have just shown up and shown out as far as coming on and watching the show. We want you to know that we appreciate you so much. We really do. We appreciate you guys. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to highlight folks in the community that you know or you may not know or you always wanted to know. So last week was just wonderful with Miss Ellen James coming on, and many people know her from Grand Rapids Community College, or when I was growing up, it was called JC. And I want to say thank you for really tuning in and asking the questions and really pulling on her. She enjoyed herself. It was awesome. I don't think that we've stopped talking about that particular show. We all have our favorites. I'm sure if I asked you guys, what are some of your favorite shows? That one is one of them. And here is Dave. And there he is.
Hey, Dr. Kimberly, thanks for being patient with me.
Oh, absolutely. I was just talking about that we got such great reviews about last week's show. And I said, we all have some of our own that are our favorites. I already know what one of your favorites are, but what's one of your favorite shows?
Oh, I mean, I was just talking about, like you said, I got so many favorites, but the show we did with Robert S. Womack, County Commissioner, right after the riots downtown. And it wasn't a riot, it was a demonstration.
Yeah.
Downtown Grand Rapids, right after Mr. Floyd was murdered in Minnesota. And the way Robert, again, talked about, the police just, and again, most of the mayhem was created by white kids not from Grand Rapids. We forget that in the story. And just, kids that wanted to create mayhem. And then, but once they started going to the art museum, it got shut down fast.
Yeah, he cried on that show. We had to stop.
Yeah, well, because he cried about, again, being a black man in America and just not having the decency or feeling that people have the decency to just honor his humanity and respect his humanity and recognize his humanity. I mean, Robert S., he and I became good friends as we, served together on the county commission. And that was just powerful. And of course, then we go to also, I mean, that the mayhem event or episode we were going to have with Kevin Matthews. We were all ready to have
go.
We were going to have 1 hour of laughter, and then you listened to his very first elevator a go-go. So check it out, folks. Shameless plug. Elevator a Go-Go is still happening. Kevin Matthews, member of or nominee for the Radio Hall of Fame, top 50 voices in radio of the 20th century. So Kevin, a friend of this show, we'll just say. And so Kevin, and he talked about, not only, Dr. Kimberly, when you went to that episode and when you started talking about, that song was but that the song was something that your grandma would hum in the kitchen and the roots of that. And then Kevin started talking about being a little kid in Pontiac and watching the first Black family in his neighborhood get burned out of their house. It's just like, man, America's like, well, everyone's like, America, isn't it so great? It's like, no, America might be great, but man, we have some great sins as well that we choose not to do enough penance over. And penance isn't about, as a Catholic, it's not about saying 50 Hail Marys and being done with it. It's about saying 50 Hail Marys and then changing your actions. That's what penance means. Change your actions. And so, hoochie mama. So pivoting back to Women's History Month, man, we have our own weird history in America, related to just women. And we continue to devalue women in this country.
We do. We want to say thank you, Heidi, for tuning in. Yes, Dave is home. He's just a little busy. And
he's fine. He's back in the office. Just been so much for a quiet March.
Right. And we want to say thank you to Artie Franklin for tuning in on today. We appreciate you. As we close out, as I stated earlier, we never stop celebrating women. We're just doing it by the calendar and closing it out for the month of March. We have two that we want to honor posthumously. And one is Dr. MaLinda Sapp. She is the late wife of Bishop Marvin L. Sapp, who many of you know, famous gospel singer, never would have made it. Thank you so much for the likes and the hearts. Appreciate that. That song that stayed at the top of the charts, never would have made it. And then with a recent passing of Dr. RhaeAnn Booker, here we go.
This is the first of MaLinda.
Wait a minute. The captions are up. There we go. Got to move the captions out the way. There we go. And many of you know that she was Bishop Marvin Sapp's manager. She was the wife of Jared, the mother of his children, his girlfriend, his everything. And she ran the church when he was gone. So she was the pastor, along with getting her doctoral degree and practicing psychologist. So she stayed pretty busy up until the Lord called her home.
Well, it's funny is I met both of them when they were getting ready to start their charter school. And the charter school was located at what originally was St. Joe's Seminary on Burton Street.
Yes, it was.
And that's where I actually lived for all 4 years of my high school career. And so I said to both of them, if you want me to show all the ways, I can show you all the ways to sneak in and out of this building so you can shut them down so that the students aren't, because every one of those buildings on Burton Street, there's a tunnel that goes between each building. And some of the tunnels none of them are accessible, Dr. Kimberly. Let me just say that.
I actually got to go through those tunnels when they were getting ready to move over there. They were doing, the tour and assessment. And I was attending their church at the time.
Okay.
And so got an opportunity to go through. And I was like, well, thank you, Jesus. As I look back on it, I'm so glad that I wasn't in a wheelchair because,
Well, it's the biggest tunnel goes from the building on Burton Street, which was called St. Henry's Hall, to the administration building.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually was kind of accessible on the St. Henry's end because there was an elevator all the way down. But then when you got to the admin building, there was, a half a flight of steps to get out of out of the tunnel. So it kind of defeated the purpose. Too many times I remember like putting things off a cart, carrying them down the steps, and we'd push them through the tunnel and then go up the elevator. I spent 6 summers there doing maintenance, that or like summer help. That's why I know the tunnels really well. But anyways, they never took me up on the offer because that would have been fun. But yeah, they were, I mean, he continues to be, but she was such a powerful presence.
Yeah, they started the Duke Ellington. It was like an after school kind of like a program.
Right. And then I was going to say, and then it continued to evolve into the charter school.
Yes. And from there, they gave them both an award with the Grand Rapids Symphony, with the Symphony of Soul. And after that, they changed the name of the award prior to Symphony of Soul to the MaLinda Sapp Legacy Award, which, as you know, this past February, RhaeAnn Booker was a recipient of it, as well as our guest a couple of weeks ago, Doretha, received it this past February. And it was nice because Bishop Sapp came in via video because he said he was on tour. So he was on tour and gave a nice speech. And we got another picture here.
This is the award before we look at the picture of RhaeAnn.
And it was so beautifully done. It was so beautifully done. And I appreciate them. So they, Symphony of Soul and Celebration of Soul, they get, okay, I'll say Celebration of Soul gets a triple plus because they came and got me prior to anyone coming into the event room at the JW Marriott, is where they had the dinner, and asked me, because Doretha's table was number 4, and said, where would you like to sit? We want to make sure that you're comfortable. We did my seating, and then they made sure that, you know, the chair was away so that when it was time to open up to the public, and then I went back out. So when it was time to open up to the public, the chair was already removed. The tables were already moved far enough away that I could just wheel right in, because I came in the Bentley. Everybody knows, just the big one. Yeah, I came in the Bentley. And it's just those little small things that make the difference. So it was a very nice, well-attended event, and her husband accepted the award on her behalf. They had just had the funeral earlier. So the funeral was right around the same time as the award ceremony. So it was pretty tough.
I mean, Dr. Kimberly's keeping me with my technical abilities stretched. Here we go. Is the picture of Dr. RhaeAnn Booker. Can you tell me a little bit more about her history?
She recently, as early as 2019, she became the inaugural DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion person for University of Michigan Health. Well, they used to be Metro Hospital.
Right.
But she got that. That was the first time they created that position, and she had that position, but she had been in Calvin for years.
Okay. In a similar position there, or professor?
She taught, but I want to say, you know, you do the work of without that type of title.
Right.
Because we haven't always had that title.
Yeah, I would imagine you are the default accessibility expert when you try to roll into a situation. We won't mention any events recently that you might have had to go up steps, but then also just being again a Black person in America. How often do you correct or challenge the microaggressions and the straight up aggressions? So
Fairly
yeah.
regularly.
Yeah, so
Fairly regularly.
you just get called out to do that.
I appreciate, the work that she began. And I would have to say that she definitely made an impact with U of M Health West, because being there last year with my husband and then there myself, and then there for a year receiving care, and just the interaction it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. And in the respect that in the past, and usually I'm sure many can attest to this, that if you come in and you've had a heart attack or you're having an issue with your blood sugars being extremely high, the doctors will admonish you and treat you as if you are a child. And I appreciated the fact that as my husband was trying to figure out where, well, how come he had congestive heart failure and where did the fluid come from? We had just flown back from New York seeing Jennifer Holliday. So he said, well, was it because, we were traveling? And he asked some really valid questions. And then he's like, do you know how big JFK Airport is? And he goes, I didn't even cheat and take a taxi through the airport. I walked, the whole airport. And he says, and that's when I noticed that I was extremely winded. That doctor treated him with such respect. He said to him, he said, sir, it wasn't anything that you did today. It was a history of it from, he said, it took 15 years for you to get to where you are right now. And he said, but I just want you to know, it doesn't matter about what happened before or didn't happen. I'm going to help you to live today. He asked him how much time did he have. He told him, he says, I can only guarantee you about 24 hours. That's about what, we're looking at. But he said, only God can tell us, how much more time. And I would definitely have to say, if they did not have the training that she provided to them as their DEI leader, that whole scenario would have gone so much differently, a lot differently. Because I've been there and I've heard conversations. So I want to say thank you to Dr. RhaeAnn for her work. I think Ronnie has something. Is that Ronnie?
Oh, he says, God bless you, Kim and Dave.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you, Ronnie. It was good to see him last Friday at Disability Awareness Day.
It sure was. Thanks for coming out.
And checking in on Rolling on the Road.
But you can see, you can feel the work that she put in at U of M.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely can feel it. And I appreciate their marketing department, because it's the same thing I said to you, when we first got started, that there are so many things that we could do, Uh-oh.
How did that happen?
There we go. Oops.
There we go.
Somebody.
We're going to fire that guy in the control booth. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you. We really need to get rid of them. But we say, hey, Zipporah Starks is tuning in from Detroit. Well, Detroit's in the house. And we want to say hello to Hazel Tyler for tuning in. We appreciate you on today. But you can tell when there's been work. I'll put it like that. You can tell when there's been work. I definitely know the difference. I've been Black a long time.
Exactly.
I done lived through a thing or two. And even when we had Dr. Walchick on the show, who was my cardiologist, just the excitement that he had when, talking about coming into the community and all of the things that he wanted to do. And I have not posted it, but him and I were on Fox 17 Morning Mix talking about heart healthy. And so when we got to the station, we were talking, waiting for our turn to go in and record. And he says, I don't know what it is about you. He goes, but I have been on television. He said, starting with your show, more than I ever have in my 20-year career. He goes, now this is the second time that I'm out here in the public talking, I'm with you. And he goes, I think we need to do something about that. And he says, people think that cancer or breast cancer is the number one killer for women. He goes, and it's not. He said, it's a heart attack. He says, that's why I am so glad that we are doing this together. And we really need to begin the education piece. And he says, because they don't pay attention, or, because the symptoms are so subtle and they're not like how a man has a heart attack, they ignore it. And he goes, but we really need to get out there. But just the conversation, because a lot of times it can be condescending and placating when those conversations happen.
Right.
And so again, I'm saying the work that Dr. RhaeAnn Booker did at University of Health West, or the old Metro Hospital, as the diversity, equity, and inclusion officer, you can see it, you can feel it, and you can experience it.
Yes. Getting that word out there, and that the actions are aligned with the words, because everybody has a really good, beautiful set of values at their front door.
Mm-hmm.
And in their vision statement and yada, yada. But if your actions don't align with your words, then people are like, yeah, whatever. It's another one of those kind of organizations.
I even appreciated the fact that, they're going to do a new campaign for their cardiology department. And they said, we don't use people that are in wheelchairs on a lot of our things. We don't use people that have disabilities within, our department and our marketing. So we want to say thank you, because we see that diversity, equity, and inclusion goes so much further out than just Black and white. And Sharon Brady is watching. Thank you, Miss Sharon. We had her on the show. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, we got some lights and some hearts. Thank you. But again, if you're just tuning in, the time is 4:25. And if you are watching the replay on GRTV 25, today is Tuesday, March 26th, correct? Or the 25th?
Today is the 26th.
Okay. It's 26th. I'm trying to keep up with the date here.
26th.
Okay. So if you are watching the replay on GRTV 25, today is Tuesday, March 26th. And today we are wrapping up our Women's History Month, even though we love women every single month and we honor them. But we're honoring Dr. MaLinda Sapp, who is the late wife of Bishop Marvin Sapp. Many of you know him. He is the gospel singer from the group Commission, and he's been a single artist for years now. Everybody knows that his top hit is Never Would Have Made It. And we're talking about Dr. RhaeAnn Booker, who just recently passed. It hasn't been quite a month yet since she passed, and she did receive the Dr. MaLinda Sapp Legacy Award, we have here the Celebration of Soul, and the celebration with the Symphony of Soul, and she received the Legacy Award. And the job that she held prior to her passing was the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer at one of the larger hospitals here, University of Michigan Health West. And yes, it is part of the big college, Go Blue, U of M. I only say that because my brother graduated from there. Yes.
That's all good. They've got their big block M all over town now. And the great irony is they just merged with Sparrow Hospital in Lansing. So they're going to have a big block M facing the Michigan State campus.
Yes. So that was awesome to find that out a little bit early before the announcement, given some of the work that I was doing with them as they were talking about how they're going to expand their cardiology, department. But just, thanking Dr. RhaeAnn Booker for the work that she did there in the diversity, equity, and inclusion, because I've been with them now for the past year, and you can feel the care, you can feel the difference that it's made from before, she got there and the time that she's been there. And we have a comment. Sharon said, "Oh, she loves our show. Thank you." And she said, "You're welcome," for her coming on the show. That was actually one of our top shows. I think we got into some conversation like we did with the Elevator or Go-Go with her as well. Mm-hmm. That was a tissue box moment.
Yeah, we try to be real, folks. Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry, sometimes we curse the darkness, and sometimes we light candles.
She said that she loves DEI work, and she was like, awesome, and we got some hearts and some lights. So we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Ooh. And are we gonna tell them today about what we did and where I was? You didn't see me today, but I heard you.
You heard me?
I heard you.
Uh-oh. I was barely,
I was in my cubicle.
Folks, the partnerships evolve, and sometimes they evolve to whatever. And sometimes they evolve to, you move in together. And so Dr. Kimberly is now hanging out here at Disability Advocates. It's just, Dr. Kimberly, I'm just going to say it, as I've said through the years here, in golly jeepers, as we approach our 4th anniversary, that, you were not the first person nor the last person that I've offered the microphone to, because it's all about folks with a lived experience being at the microphone saying, this is my truth. And just like with Disability Awareness Day with Vicki and Michael and Cassandra on the stage this year. But yeah, you don't hesitate to chime in and to help and to be part of that. And we did a little bit of it when we were on Camelot, but then here at the Special Olympics Inclusion Campus with 11 disability organizations under one roof, other disability organizations are like, hey, how can we participate? And we've got extra space. And so Dr. Kimberly said, how about me? And I said, well, here's the official agreement we have to sign, because you got to have all the officialness in place. But Dr. Kimberly's the first one to roll on in here and, say, this is going to be the home base of 100 Shades of Diverse Abilities until she, hits the lottery tonight. And then she'll be buying the biggest building downtown Grand Rapids. And you're going to see a big old purple sign downtown Grand Rapids. But until that happens, she's going to be hanging out here. And, we allow community partners to use our conference rooms because, again, the community paid for it. And so for us to pay it forward. So anyways, it's is this the second or third day you've been here?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that. Trying to get all my stuff moved in and get acclimated. And then I realized that I forgot my cord. So I had to run back down the street. So, well, I guess I'll, record from home.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, it's great that you're here hanging out with us.
But it was really nice as I was getting the shows together to wheel over to OT and said, hey, when are you guys available? Because want Interim to come over. And guess what? Interim was just leaving, needed to get something out of the closet. And she's like, oh my God, that would be so perfect. If we can come on and they can come on, and then we just get this done. But it's going to be the Judy with the I, not the Judy with the Y.
We have a new our home assessment team is Judy with a Y is retiring and reducing her hours. So we hired a new manager for that team, who, of course, one of our traditions here at Disability Advocates is to hire people with the same name. So we have Kimberly Barrington. We have Kim Davey, who's like her point person on our staff. She works tons with our test pilots, what have you. And so Judy with an I is replacing Judy with a Y. And we'll find it'll probably be Judy M and Judy S or Judius. It sounds like Judas here in Holy Week, but we won't say Judas.
Yeah.
Judius.
Well, Judy with the Y has already designated Judy with the I. She goes, yeah, she'll be here on Monday. And what days do you work? And then y'all two can talk. Yeah, I think that'd be a good.
I saw the email pointing at my computer screen. I saw the email already. Dr. Kimberly's like, we're going to have you on. We're going to be talking about it. Because as we've already noted, yes, we are finishing our Women's History Month, but women make history 365, actually 366 days this year.
This year,
it is a leap year.
We want to say, hey,
notice
Doretha. He's watching.
It was so great to see Doretha on Friday as well at Disability Awareness Day in person.
Yeah, I just pull all kinds of people in.
That's why we hang out together, because it's all about inviting people, bringing people in, and how are we continued to be engaged.
We got some hearts. And Sharice Austin is watching. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Coolness.
But I'm excited about next week. How cool is that? Did you see?
I did to see. Are you going to give a spoiler, or is it just a shameless plug?
I don't know. I was waiting to see if he had posted it on his page yet.
Okay. Will he be on screen, or is he heading to Vegas soon, or how does it work? We'll find out next week.
Yes.
We'll find out next week, folks.
So I'm telling you, tenacity pays. Opportunity, always presents itself to those who are looking for it. I saw this video that was sent to me from TikTok, and I said, oh my God in heaven. And so I started, it was actually their audition video that I sent to you is what got sent to me. And so I looked them up on TikTok, and then I looked them up on YouTube, and I looked them up on Facebook, and I sent a message on Facebook, and maybe 10, 15 minutes later, it was like, hello, sure, I'd love to be on your show.
Nice.
And sent me the picture that they took out there for, I think that, it's the picture that the show is using. Sent that picture to me to make the flyer. And when I finished it, I sent it over. They were like, perfect.
And he's from Grand Rapids, or the Grand Rapids area?
No. He's from Ennis, Texas.
Wow, folks, wait till next Tuesday to get the full story here.
Because he couldn't do it He couldn't do it today,
Got it.
but he can do it next week.
Got it.
Yep.
Definitely but a great theme for today's show, nonetheless, as we continue to pivot. And we're also working on other guests for down the road as we roll down the road. So yeah, always fun. You never know who's going to pop up here on screen with us.
You don't. I mean, I got so many comments. We saw your show. You had the lieutenant governor. Can I be friends with you? Because it was really nice. Went to the fundraiser with the governor and lieutenant governor, and so at the end of service last week, pastor said, "Yeah, so I just want you guys to know what I did this week."
Nice.
We want to say thank you to Dr. Barrington, who we got to meet. He goes, I got to meet the governor and lieutenant governor and talk about what we're doing here at the Rest and send everything over, which I was like, yes, he's doing some amazing things. So a lot of those programs that he talked about here on the show, he got an opportunity to talk to the governor and lieutenant governor about them and send everything over to Lansing and take a picture. And he says, so I just want to say thank you to Dr. Barrington for making those introductions. And I said, everybody would have a fit if they saw this place. There were 20 steps, no elevator.
Yes.
None.
And then
What did I say?
Thought they were banning TikTok soon. So please educate me on that. TikTok. Were you on TikTok, Dr. Kimberly?
Oh yeah, there's a video of you and I together. It's got like
on TikTok?
Yeah. Yeah, you and me on the ice together.
Oh my gosh, that one's on TikTok? Yeah, people. We're always having fun, but TikTok,
342 views of you and I on the ice, 434 views of Michael pushing me on the ice.
Nice. That was last winter when we had winter, and we were part of a photo shoot for related to Travel Michigan, highlighting the winter wonderland that we sometimes are. So that was on TikTok. But yeah, Ronnie, real quick, Congress is not happy with the guy who runs TikTok is from Singapore, but then it's still a major ownership is based in China. And then this whole idea, are they mining data, or does TikTok send viruses or other malware through it into your computer? So who knows? I mean, unfortunately, the sadness, it doesn't make a lot of news, but there was just a quick digression, a huge cyber attack against this company that it's the brokerage between medical providers and therapists of all varieties, including mental health therapists, and the insurance companies. And they got hacked, the people in the middle. So all these providers couldn't submit their claims to the insurance company to get paid. And I know most about that because my wife here in Women's History Month will highlight an awesome local therapist. Her company, Counseling Centers of West Michigan, I mean, she's part of, they were impacted by that cyber attack. So that's the fear, is that TikTok is opening us up as a nation to just bad actors. And we don't like China now because of their communist government, even though we buy billions of dollars worth of goods every month from China, but that's a different story. So anyways, that's the quick digression into TikTok.
Can I turn my shoes back in?
Not yet. As long as your shoes don't have an internet chip in them, they should be fine.
I checked them.
All right. If they have a chip, you got to send them back. So that's the quick aside to answer Ronnie's question about TikTok. But, Congress, the good and the bad of Congress, they just don't seem to be able to get anything done these days. We won't go there. Though maybe we should be inviting our Congresswoman, Hillary Skolton, our Congresswoman here, based in Kent County, though there's another district swings up here a little bit. But anyways, she being the first woman to represent the Grand Rapids based congressional district ever.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's probably rhetorical in nature. That at this point in 2024, I don't take pride in saying being the first Black or being the first woman or the first wheelchair user, because I think it's a sad commentary in 2024 that we still have some first.
Amen to that. I mean,
I think that we need to, I cringe, so I don't hide what I'm thinking very well on my face. I cannot play poker because I would give it away. And so y'all just saw my face because I cringe every time I hear, you know what, she's the very first from here. And in 2024, I don't think that's something to really hang your hat on or really celebrate, because there have been some phenomenal women who have done some phenomenal things, and why they haven't or didn't, I don't know. But in 2024, I just don't think that that's something that we should not be the first. We should say, she's the fifth one carrying on the torch. That, yes, let's rally behind that. Even with Winnie, she's the first, and it's like, but yeah, because there's enough women, there's enough power there that this could have been done a long time ago.
Yep.
I just watched the Netflix special, Shirley Chisholm. The tenacity, and that's putting it nicely.
Yeah.
Of that woman just blew me away. I mean, I've always revered her, but to see her behind the scenes, because they did both, and the things that she had to experience and the way she would shut things down, when she came into the House at the time as a congresswoman, they got paid $42,500. And so for another congressman, every day, every time she came in, it was, so you get $42,500. I can't believe you get $42,500. Just like she said, yup, I do. And it's not going to change, other than it's going to be more, as time goes on. So you need to get over it and stop saying it to me.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, what? She said just win? And so it really, really left such an indelible impression upon me, the way she went at these white men and how she just really stood her ground. And then the things that they did to keep her from, being in office. And even, when she didn't get the, presidency, the Democratic nomination for presidency, just the things that she wasn't even able to do that, they had kind of blackballed her from, but she still found her way.
Yep.
And she was doing that in 1972. 1972. We should not be impressed in 2024.
Yep.
When we have, and I mean absolutely no disrespect, but we have more folks in the LGBT community plus K, H, and L in prominent positions and flaunting it, the rights that they have. And we're just now talking about a congressman from West Michigan, the first female.
Yep.
First majority. we need to be saying shame, shame, shame.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What did
And
what did Ronnie say?
they were talking about that awesome woman this morning on The View. So talking about Shirley Chisholm.
Mm-hmm. I just that movie lit a fire underneath me. As if I didn't, I always quote her about, if there's no room, bring your own chair. And I'm like, well, I come with my own chair. That's how we got in with the governor. Is that, look, just give me some space. I already got the chair.
Exactly. That's what I like to say. I'm discriminated against because I have to bring my own chair. You already have one with you.
I got a chair.
I call that bad disability humor, folks. Bad disability humor brought to you by Dave. But a little bit of grace I'm given. But yeah, I mean, that piece of, and I was just reminiscing with somebody. I was at a 5th anniversary of the ADA in 1995. And everybody was like, wee, that ADA is 5 years old. Wee, isn't this great? And I'm sitting around this table in Lansing at this big event. And I just said, well, it's kind of sad that we have to pass a law to make it illegal to discriminate because it's so prevalent in our community. We have to pass a law to force people to build ramps and 0-step entrances at the front door so you can go in and spend your money. So I said, maybe we should just have like black balloons and crepe paper and like be sad that we have to pass a law just to get equal rights. And almost 25 years later, not almost 30 years later, so this year's the 34th anniversary of the ADA. Next year will be 35. We're still working hard. Again, I mean, we're making great headway, folks. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we have an awesome partnership here in Grand Rapids with Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc., Experience Grand Rapids. Dr. Kimberly's been on multiple, multiple photo shoots with them. Brought a tear to her eye last Tuesday. I was missing the show here because I was at the Experience Grand Rapids annual event. And there on the screen was the picture of Dr. Kimberly with Stanley at Meyer Gardens. Again, bragging up the accessibility for all. It's accessible for you if you walk, if you use a cane, if you use a wheelchair. Come to Grand Rapids, West Michigan, spend your money. We are a cool place. I mean, that's the message. And Dr. Kimberly's been one of those models, quite a model of this, both a model on the screen and a model of a person. We've heard her trials and tribulations and joy of many of her travels around the country of awesome accessibility and not. So anyways, back to celebrating the firsts. And then, of course, the downside or the negative side of that coin is, yeah, we had a person with a wheelchair here, but it didn't work out, so we don't need to hire another one. It's like, we don't say that about white guys. Well, we had a white guy here, but he was terrible, so we're never going to hire another white guy. Right? You're laughing because, I mean,
that's what they say. But they don't do that, and they might say
exactly.
That, well, we had a Shaquisha, but we're not going to do that again. And then we had a Jamil, but can't do that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we don't need to hire another black person because we had one of those once and it didn't work out. But again, that continued examples of white privilege. We never say, dang, that white guy. It's just like, Dave, he stinks. We don't, but Dr. Kimberly's like, well, that black woman. And like somehow we're going to judge all black women because of Dr. Kimberly or MaLinda or RhaeAnn. I mean, so anyways, it's just like people who don't want to see the evidence in front of them. It's just, but we're going to keep preaching it because you got to. I mentioned it earlier. We're going to keep lighting candles instead of cursing the darkness.
Yeah, we have to. We have to. We've got some great shows coming up. A lot of community collaboration. and showing how we can all come together and be helpers one to another. One thing I will definitely say about the pandemic, especially when it first started, how everyone, helped everybody out. I think we have a comment here.
Ronnie was following up on my comment about bringing my own chair. He said, I thank God I can bring my own chair with me. You're right. It's still a lot of places that need to be open to people with disabilities. So Ronnie uses a walker that you can spin around and use as a chair. And so, but he's out there walking and getting his exercise in and finding places that are inaccessible to him as a person who uses a walker, but also as a Black man. I mean, is he fully welcomed everywhere in our community? That's a rhetorical question for now, and we'll continue to answer it.
It is. But I definitely will have to say, a couple of weeks ago, it didn't seem as though it was an accessible place. But what I appreciated was that a white young woman said, I'm going to get you up the stairs. I have someone who can assist me with that. And don't worry, I got you, and I won't let you fall. I'll get you to the top. And I wanted to just cry because there was no angst, there was no complaint, the willingness, the kindness. And it reminded me of in the Bible where they cut the roof open to lower their friend down to get to Jesus, is what it made me think of.
And that is awesome. And I'm going to add my twist to that story, because you are right. We focus on the person who needed to get in front of Jesus for healing. And we focus on those 4 friends that tore through the roof and lowered him down for Jesus. But we don't, at least the only time I know is when I preached on it, believe it or not, that we don't talk about the homeowner. We don't talk about that person that your life has to be disrupted to really welcome people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and again, it's not to make light of that disruption. It was real, because now that person's like, hey, I got a hole in my roof, and before you walk away, buddy, I need you to start fixing it now that you can walk. But this idea that we can bring accessibility, we can bring healing without disruption. And then we're all upset that there's disruption. But I mean, that person to me is a mystery person who needs a little more attention, and not at all to diminish the focus you just gave it. That, the powerful witness of the friends and the faith of the guy that got lowered. Absolutely don't want to diminish that at all. But that homeowner who thought he was going to have a cool dinner with this guy named Jesus, and all of a sudden his roof's getting tore up.
Well, that would be the young guy. His name was Daniel. Daniel was like, he just thought he was going to serve all these extra people and make all these extra tips. And now you're talking about, you want me to break my back and lift this person up how many stairs? He looked, he said, you want me to do what? Because that was she says, yeah, come on, you're gonna take the back end. He was like, what?
Yeah.
He was the homeowner. You're tearing up my night, my time, and what I thought, and asking me to do something. And I'm thinking like, oh, I get to see the governor and lieutenant governor all in the same room, and hobnob, and yet you're asking me to lift this woman up 3 stairs, and not just 20 regular stairs. I'm talking about steep stairs. You saw the pictures, and I know you cringed when you saw.
Oh, unfortunately, I know the place well, and I'll leave it at that. We try not to go there because of that very reason, you know? I mean, it's like, yeah, I know elevators are expensive, but at the same time, who can't use the space because of the lack of an elevator? And because then I'm sure there's people carrying things up and down those steps
Oh my goodness.
related to the business, just carrying, you know, whatever, more beverages upstairs, dirty dishes down, you know, anyways. But again, I mean, of course, I cringed when I saw the picture, but of course, your smiling face in the picture saying, it is what it is, Dave. I want to go see the governor, lieutenant governor. I got to be carried up some steps. So.
And I was like, they called, so I'm going. And I decided not to do like I did the last time. That one time. No.
Nice.
I said I was going to be on my best behavior.
Oh, we'll just say, you know, yeah, that's the fun we try to have, folks.
Well, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in. It is now 4:57. And it's amazing.
4:57?
Yes. And if you are watching the replay on GRTV 25, today is Tuesday, March 26th, and we just wrapped up Women's History Month. We have a great April coming for you. We're actually going to do a little cooking over at Gilda's Club. One of our chefs is over in Italy right now and will not be back to the 20th of April. And so we had to wait for her to come back because she wants to do the first show with Chef O.
Really?
Nice. Yes. Instead of doing it by, she'll do one by herself.
Right.
So we have a lot. Did I say a lot? Oh, we've got so much in store.
I've heard tell that we have a lot in store.
Yes. So when Chef Jenna comes back from Italy, well, we got some world travelers. She's going to come back, and then we'll go over to Gilda's Club and make a wonderful meal over there.
Awesome.
Woo! So as always, we don't put periods anymore. We just continue on, or we put a semicolon so that we don't have run-on sentences.
It's all good.
Be grammatically correct. But we want to say thank you to all of our guests this month that came on. And we want to say thank you to Pastor Sean Stokes. And Pastor Dave, appreciate his t-shirt.
Love it. I love it.
Loves the t-shirt. So we appreciate that. She gave a whole bunch of purple hearts. So we want to say thank you. And we celebrate all the women, even if we did not mention you by name, but we appreciate you because every day that you're doing something, you are creating history. You're changing the way that something has been done or showing how it can be done. Like today, I created a poncho out of garbage bags.
Might have been downpouring out here.
It was. And Pastor Sean said, glad you got it. She says, love you both. And
good stuff.
But we want to say thank you to everybody who's creating her story, which becomes history.
Yes.
That we appreciate you. And you guys be prepared on next week. Wow. We're doing like this, crossing our nose and our toes. Hopefully they don't call him away or they whisk him and he has to do something else. But even so, hopefully, if he has to do it on the road, but you guys are going to be amazed. We're doing some awesome things here in year 4.
Well, and we know how to roll on the road.
We do. So we're looking forward to next week. So you guys stay on the edge of your seats with bated breath because it's going to be good.
All good stuff.
Yeah. See you guys on next week.